Zealots, thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. Everybody must be under the control of one group of people because they believe that whatever they have is the best. And for that matter, everybody must obey. And to the point that they sold a narrative that everybody is buying into it, believing that we have the right to decide who leads us. And we've seen that even though we claim we have the right to choose the people to lead us, at the end of the day when these people come into office, do nothing. The ambassador of Iran to Burkina Faso, he has praised the leaders in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso for the good things that they are doing, AES leaders, because they have done the best thing. That these people go around claiming they want regime change. They want to bring democracy. They pretend that they are after the people, the well-being of the people. But what they are actually doing in the guise is to make sure they continue to have leaders in place that will give them the chance to be taking the resources. But when we come to AES leaders, they have stand firm. And Iran supports them. Iran is willing to continue to support them in everything that they need to continue with their fight, because Iran is also in their shoes. He cited Afghanistan, Iraq, and other places they claim that they are there to give them democracy, and that what is the fate of these nations. We also know of Libya, and that was the same thing they were trying to do in Iran because of the resources that they are interested in. So always, wherever they go preaching that system called democracy, you should know that they are looking for people who will give them easy access to the resources that they have. And now we know better. But it's just that sometimes it saddens the heart that majority of us are still the people who are preaching democracy, claiming that if these are leaders in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso are truly doing the best, why don't they go back to democracy? Because we have been sold the narrative that democracy allows you to choose. Who do you choose? Because at the end of the day, these leaders, when they come into office, we see that they do nothing for us.
Mojtaba Faghi first denounced the attitude of the United States before this bloody bombing of February 28, 2026. For the ambassador of the Islamic Republic of Iran, Donald Trump's country and Israel violated all the principles of diplomacy and negotiation by dropping the first missiles on civilian infrastructure that day. The diplomat maintains that the United States committed two major crimes in this crisis. First, the assassination of the leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Then the bombing of 168 schoolgirls. The total loss of human life amounts to more than 3,400 civilians, and that's not all. I say that during the war, the Americans and Iran and the Israelis murdered 3,468, Iranians 383 children, me 26. Doctors and 120 medics were also injured. About 30,000 civilians were injured. Among the injured, there are 5,200 women. A macabre toll that the Iranian diplomat describes while questioning the value of human rights and democracy touted by the West. Mojtaba Faghi denounces this form of democracy, an imported system that tends to be imposed on other nations according to him. The Iranian ambassador is in line with the Burkinabe president, who also rejects this form of political governance. And
if you notice our president, His Excellency Ibrahim Traore, he always says that Western democracy is not good. It is a bad system. Why? Because Western democracy is always about bombing others.
There you have it. Bombing them, so that means that this is their democracy like that. The Americans bombed Libya, they bombed Afghanistan, they bombed Iraq, and Palestine. What did they bring there? Were they able to establish the democracy that is in the West? Unfortunately not. For him, Westerners are not aiming for a political regime or change, but rather capitalism and the natural resources of the various states attacked, such as Burkina Faso, which is fighting terrorism. The Iranian regime, which claims to see this war through to the end, thanks to the determination of its people, also supports the current policy of Captain Ibrahim Traoré. He says that the Iranian authorities and officials are always ready to support Burkina Faso in its politics and economy, in all areas that Burkina Faso wants the Iranians to support them. He says that President Traoré has, in other words, embodied a voice of independence, a voice of sovereignty. The Islamic Republic of Iran, in the same spirit of support, has expressed a particular attachment to the revolutionary and independence ideas promoted by the various heads of state of the Islamic Republic of Iran. It also calls on the populations of these three states to support their leaders in order to achieve true independence.
They take decisions that go against us. They have never done anything to change the narrative. And their time will come, they will leave, another person will come, they'll continue to be promising one thing to the other. They don't bring any development. They don't change anything. Everything that we are going through is the same thing, and things are increasing. Nothing. Unlike what we are seeing in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, the leaders are fighting to change the narrative. The leaders are protecting the resources. The leaders are making sure that they reconscientize the mentality of their people. And that is the most important thing. And that is the reason to which we are seeing that they are going to the extent of getting African influencers who will come into Africa to now come and then change the narrative for us to continue to be in oppression. What we know is what our leaders in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso are doing to be nothing but the best for the African. Africa must decide its destiny. We need to have the right to choose what kind of system we think is best for us. After all, we are not the same as them. So why do they always want other people to practice their culture, their system? No. If people are preaching human rights equality, why can't they allow other people to decide what they think is best for them? Who should lead them? What they need to do? If these things that they are pushing are not things that help them. And that is the reason to which we are seeing that all these are democratic elected leaders. When they come, all they talk about is how well they have been able to maintain democracy and not how well they have been able to change something in Africa. Protecting democracy is all the achievement that they boast of, while poverty is all over the continent, while our resources are moving out, while we have the resources, we have the uranium, yet we sleep in darkness and other people are enjoying the light. Our leaders will not talk about what they can do to change the narrative or what they will do to make sure that the resources will not leave. But what they always talk about is how well they have been able to maintain the system that is used to continue to take the resources out of Africa. And Africa must be free. And we cannot get our freedom, our liberation, when we continue to be practicing the same system. These people will never come into your country to give you anything but democracy. And at the end of the day, we've seen the things that democracy has given to us. So why should we continue to move in the direction of other people and not what we think is best for us? What happened in Iran should teach a lot of us a lesson, but the unfortunate part is Africans are following this based on the religious lens instead of facing reality. And whatever the situation is, Africa must be free. We must decide our destiny. We must decide our path. We must decide what we think is best and not what other people think is right in their eyes. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world in Africa, West Africa, and in Iran.